Well, it's an interesting time for core urban cities. I don't want anyone to think that we're unique in what has occurred with regards to the challenges we've had on our streets with our youth. I was in Philadelphia recently, and Mayor Nutter had an officer killed while we were there, and has had 8 since, in a year and a half, has had 8 officer shootings within a year and a half, or officer deaths, I should say. There were a number of car accidents in that as well. We're challenged as an urban community, but I think because of the economy, you're going to see that urban communities are going to become the new bastion for creativity, for innovation, for revitalization, because not everyone's going to be able to afford to live in the outskirts, and you're going to have to think about what are you going to do now. With that comes the opportunity to I call it wrapping our arms around our kids in many different ways. First, let me tell you, if you're going to commit evil, I'm all about us taking care of that. So don't think for one moment I'm saying, oh, let's just go have a party and wrap our arms around and not deal with the challenge of the day that the community of education, the community of the promise, does not tolerate people injuring our citizens violently. We don't tolerate that, and we will come at you if that occurs. That's one. But the goal, especially with our youth, is that we will never abandon them. None of us, through all the things that all of you parents go through, we know that you work through whatever it is with your children, the things that are negative, the things that are positive, and those things are just there. You work through those. We're going to try and do our best, and as a community we must do this, to develop opportunities and build up our kids so that they make better choices, that they don't think about guns, that they think about a computer, that they don't think about injuring someone on the street, they think about reading a book. That is the realm we have to be working in. And that is a challenge because it's not just me, it's parents. We talk about it all the time. It's parents. It's the family. It's the church. It's the governmental bodies. It's the community centers. It's the schools. Figuring out that piece. Actionable items that we can do. Now, don't for a minute mistake that we aren't doing for our kids. There's a whole bunch of things that are going on. We still have some that are lost. We still have individuals that feel hopeless in this community of promise, which is an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. An interesting thing. You can go to college. You can go to college free in this community. How is that not a great thing, and would that not give someone hope? Well, we don't know what all the things that our children are going through. And because of the economic challenges we have, things are going to become probably more challenging, and I know I'm using that word a lot, but it's there. But if we are smart, this is the key, if we are smart, then the engagement at the table will be not what do we do next, but how do we continue to connect what we are doing? How do we reevaluate what we are doing and show measurable results? My goal is that at the end of the day, when we bring kids together, when we're working on this engagement of our youth, we are able to show you that this is the progress we're making. That's one of the things we have not put together real well. Show you where we're not, and then you can sit at home and say, well, I can engage here, or I can get involved there. And if you take one, and I take one, and others take one, parents start stepping up, schools rearranging like they have their expectations, and they have community expectations. As we start to commit differently and form the stronger covenant around this community, we can address the challenges on the street. Not an easy task, won't happen tomorrow, but it needs to happen. So apparently, if it won't happen tomorrow, we need to get started now.
One of the things that the new public safety chief indicated was his strong suit was community policing. That is, a better relationship between the community and the public safety officers. Have you seen that begin to happen?
We have. We have a great new chief, and now he has a senior leadership team in place, or at least appointed, and it will give him his next level of being able to step out and fulfill the rest of his mission that he is committed to. And youth are a part of that mission, no doubt about it. And community policing is a part of that. Community policing, though, to me is having eyes on the problems, on the challenges, and that you're engaging the community, not just the officers. Safety on our streets and safety in our neighborhoods and youth violence and all those things are not just a public safety matter. And we often hear that, well, you guys need to do, or you need to do that. No, this is a multi-pronged approach. Dealing with evildoers, absolutely. Trying to prevent young people from stepping into violence, so whether it's our ordinances and what have you regarding curfews or getting young people off the streets so they don't wander into that realm, that's still part of the government's role. We have to do that. We have to also be a part of a community, that we're connecting government to all the community programs, that we can find avenues for our kids through that. And then the bottom line is this pathway of hope, for example. And that's us, not just the government connecting with community groups and working with the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA or the Douglas Community Association or Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, any of those. But the piece of me at home, could I mentor someone? That person sitting in their living room, is there an opportunity for me to mentor someone? Is there an opportunity for me as the person that is in a high-rise downtown to step out and say, hey, I'm a business guy and I want to teach some kids about business. I'm a bank and I want to form an investment camp to help young people understand the opportunities that the market can have when it's doing real well. That's that path of hope. That's that piece of truly being the community of promise is all about. And that's what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks when I give my State of the City. We'll be talking about that.
As you made that appeal for the city, the community to help with the challenges that we have, what's been the response?
It's interesting. This appeal is not just my appeal. Let me go there. We have had multiple responses, as you always get. People willing to do what they can, where they can, and they make those choices. We want to continue to build a menu of options. We want to continue to connect the dots, that if this business is doing something great, might that be an example for your business? But understand, when I say this isn't just coming from me, since the promise, there have been so many people sitting around the table going, I'm not sure we're thinking through this right. I don't think we're thinking big enough or bold enough. It's been amazing that there have been so many individuals on the same page on this. Not all knowing what to do, but knowing that we have to do. Not knowing when to do, but that we have to do. And so it's been so interesting because it's been business people, some of our largest business people, saying, wow, we need to figure out what's going on with 18 to 20-something-year-olds because they fall out of the system. Between 18 and 25, you're in the system and everyone's doing for you, the school system, or you're in whatever systems. There's a lot of support until you get to the age 18, and then things disappear. I've had conversations about that group, 18 to 25. I've had conversations about what are we going to do about literacy, and not just literacy for our kids, but for our adults. What are we going to do about that? We need to engage differently. Yeah. Literacy is a key. That's what's going on. The response has been, I haven't put out the huge call. I'm going to put out a call on March the 30th, but there are also already people ready and prepared and are in the background supporting the call.
Speaking of March 30th, the state of the